he hasn't come by. He's not in any of our videos thus far.
Yet.
We are working on it, trust me. Through no fault of our own.
None.
We have been trying to get him in here, and he will be here soon.
Yes.
He, it might not be in this episode or maybe the season finale is when we'll get him in. Or we might make it a cliffhanger and bring him next season.
Next, at the beginning.
At the beginning of next season. But he's on his way.
He will be here eventually.
And Danny is funny in the sense that everything that we've been talking about for these last, sessions that we've been having on our conversations, everything has come from him.
Yes.
Don't get us wrong that we have learned a lot. We've made up or evolved into all the things that we are only because of what Danny has taught.
Yeah,
the way he gives the lessons, the way he showed the things that he's shown us, and then it was on us to grow the way we grow and become what we become
for ourselves
as individuals. And again, it goes back because our instructor allowed us to be that. Otherwise I'd be just a cookie cutter of Danny,
right,
and you of me and whatever else. So it's really important that we acknowledge, his generosity in what he's given us.
Oh, yeah.
And say, okay, everything that I know, even though he may not even say, hey, I never taught you that, it came from what he told you. And we heard him say that in the past. Like, oh, right. Yeah. We never,
I never gave him that lesson. But good job. Yeah. Well, he says good job to me, not to him. That's his brother, so.
Yeah. I like him sometimes.
It's a sibling thing.
Yeah.
It's a sibling.
He was supposed to be here today.
He was.
So there you go.
Yeah, so that, again, not our fault.
Yeah. What else you got on your plate?
Lately I've been considering the idea of the master mentality.
The master mentality. Oh, this sounds like it's going to be fun. What do you got?
And, I'm not trying to say anything bad about anyone in any way, but I've been questioning what's the difference between a master and a new student. If we're talking in the sense of knowledge itself, well, knowledge, you can find it somewhere.
I think time. The amount of time that the student had with this new system, the amount of time the instructors had with his system, and what do we get out of time? Experience. Right? So, rather than saying, experience, because that's a given, but it's the time. Because of what they're willing to put into it. I've always said, I let my new students become, teach somebody right away. As long as I know you're doing it really good, I want you to teach right away.
Right.
Because there's the experience. And by you teaching and getting that experience, you're building your time in the system.
So I love that you said that time, because it reminded me of something you guys said early on when I first started with you guys. Now I forgot what it was. My train of thought went away. But something along the lines that you're only going to get out of this system as much as you put in.
Right. Yeah, and that's true, because like I said, when we were talking earlier about how does the student make himself better,
right,
if they don't put that time into it, to even explore anything that they've learned for that weekend or when they were there, then they're not going to be, there's nothing when they come back the next day.
Nothing to build on.
There's nothing to build on because they had not worked on it.
Wow.
So that experience that you would have gained by practicing and doing all these things and trying to evolve what you were given,
the time in it,
falls on deaf ears because then you didn't do anything. So you're not going to move forward. And again, I'm not going to be there 24/7 with this kid or this student to say, okay, keep training. That's not my part of the deal. My thing is, I give you something, you take it and you practice it and work on it, and come back and show me what you did. What did you develop from it, and what did you get out of it? And then I give you something else. Right. When you're in our gym, we will teach you stuff. When you leave the gym, you have to practice it and figure out the stuff.
So you're pretty much saying that when we're in class, you give us something.
Right.
So that something is now ours.
That's yours. Do whatever you want. And if you do something with it, great. And if you don't, okay,
That's on you.
that's on you. But you can't say I'm a bad instructor because I didn't teach you anything or I didn't give you anything.
That is true. That
Right?
is true.
And I've seen that in all schools. You know, students go in there, a new student goes in there, and they do all the stuff that day. They look fairly good, you know, they're working it. But then when they go home, they don't do anything near about it. And then they come back the next week and, you know, what did you do? You look exactly like you did the last time. Where's the growth?
And it seems like that's where some instructors may fall into that trap, where the student didn't do their part. So now the instructor feels like they have to do more in order to get them ahead.
Yeah, and that's, you know, teacher-student relationship, right, is important because you as the instructor have to understand where your student is at all times, right? In that I give you a lesson, you take it home, and you come back, and like we said earlier, I'll tell you whether you're going to practicing it right or practicing it wrong, and then I tell you how do you get it so that you can practice it better.
But you put the time in.
But you put time in, so that's awesome. Another student, I give him something, he goes home, comes back, there's no improvement at all whatsoever. I can tell you didn't put any time into this. So you need to rectify that.
Okay.
That can't fall on me, because again, I'm not going to follow you 24/7. You have to have, you know, this partnership that we have has to be a two-way street. You can't just say, okay, I'm ready for my next lesson. If you didn't practice the last lesson,
how are you?
so this new one is probably going to go over your head because you didn't work with the last one. Because all of our lessons are always progressive from what you learned the week before.
It's a compounding thing.
And if you didn't work on that, this new thing I'm going to give you has no meaning.
So I think in that sense, that's our commonality with the traditional way of teaching, is the time put into, the effort put into, and then that time becomes comprehension, understanding.
And then eventually experience. Because now you're playing with it, now you're using it, now it becomes something that you can do anytime you need to. And you become proficient in it because of the time you put into it. And it's become your experience throughout this growth of yours in this field. So you have to be, as an instructor, you have to monitor your student and see that. And then, and I hate to say that, if they're not growing and if they're not moving forward, you need to cut them off and say, okay, I don't think you're really that interested in this. Otherwise, you'd be doing a lot more. You know, you'd be more proactive about it. You know, so maybe it's time to part ways. And you hate to say that to anybody because one, it affects your wallet.
It's true.
You know, but two, as a human being, you gotta be able to tell people this is not working for you. Maybe you should go try somewhere else or whatever. But aside from wasting your time and effort into giving something to a student who's not going to even work at it,
taking away from other students that are.
Then why? I mean, you know, you almost can't have any sympathy for that person that who's going to take up your time and not show anything for it.
So it seems that once you get to a certain level as an instructor, you almost have to revisit yourself as a student. Because as a student, you have to have a clear understanding of why you even want to learn this stuff. So too, as an instructor, you have to have a clear idea or understanding of why you are teaching this.
Yeah, well, you know, and they all go hand in hand, don't they? I mean, if you thought about it, when I first was learning, right, what was my motivation? My motivation to learn martial arts was the idea that my cousin owned a studio and it was free. Honest, right?
Okay.
That's what it was for me.
That's the reason
He's
why
my cousin.
I didn't take martial arts, because it wasn't free.
Yeah. My cousin was an instructor. They had their own dojo. I went there. It was free. All I had to do was mop the floor and you know, whatever.
Help them out a bit.
And it was free. So yeah, but even then, even though it was free, I still took the time to learn and progress and evolve and become whatever. Even cleaning the dojo, I was told, yeah, this is going to help you. And it did. It was humility. You know, I was like, oh, you put all that shit away and you start cleaning the floor and look like a janitor or whatever else. But you did it because you understood why you were doing it. And I wanted to be there. Aside from it being free, after a certain time, no, I really like this. I want to grow with this, and I kept growing. So yeah, you got to look at that and say, okay, why am I here? Well, to begin with, it was free, and then it becomes something. Then you start to grab. I mean, just like you, right? 6 years later, why are you still here?
Because I like you guys. No, it's because I've grown so much in these 6 years. I don't see any other way of learning. And I want to continue growing and progressing in it.
And then what you're saying is that you become loyal to the idea of what you're doing.
Right.
And it really isn't about me or Danny.
No.
It's for your personal growth and what you're getting out of it because of the idea that's been instilled in you that you want to keep going for you.
Yeah, you guys are the means more so than anything else.
Right. It isn't. You're not doing this for us.
No.
That's a given.
Yeah.
But you are wanting to keep learning because of something we felt because of what we've been teaching you, how we've taught it to you. And you say, "Oh, I want to keep going," and that's with any system.
Right.
That's with any school. You get that one good student who's there outside of the fact that it's school. They're there for themselves to say, "Wow, I love what I'm doing. I'm going to get really good at this because I'm so motivated for me."
Mm-hmm.
And they'll do whatever it takes, and they will listen to the instructors and do all the things so that they can get better.
And they will also question.
And those are the good students. Those are the ones who will always question. They might not do it the first couple of years, but
right.
when they get to that certain level, now you're going to have a lot of explaining to do.
I have questions.
Yes.
But and that's, and no matter what school, it seems that is a natural progression of actual learning.
Yes.
Danny just had enough insight to say, well, if that's the case, let's do that from the beginning.
Right. And that's where, a good friend, Nicholas Morena, had said that to us. We're taking the stuff and we're turning it upside down, where we do the hard parts first and get to the easy things at the other end.
That's true.
Right? We're like, okay, if that's what it sounds like. And he's like,
Well, yeah, and I get his explanation behind it, because the subconscious mind works backwards. Like when we're little, our frontal lobe isn't fully developed yet. So a friend of mine was telling me his daughter asked him, "Hey, how big is my head?" And because she was trying to draw something. So her response to figuring that out was putting her face on the paper and tracing her head.
There you go.
Simple.
That's it.
And it was effective in what she was trying to accomplish, because that's how our primitive brain kind of works. It works backwards. It looks at the result, and then, all right, how do I get from the result to where I am right now?
Right. That's what Danny would call reverse engineering.
Oh yeah, I haven't heard that.
Danny would say that's reverse engineering, because you get locked up a certain way, whatever the case may be, and you start there. You start on the ground and come back to where you're here. Reverse engineering. And I love that idea, because you could really see all the places and all the the pros and cons of reverse engineering, so that you can see what are the things that are going on, and you understand what will and what won't happen.
Yeah, it's how you break everything apart and turn it into individual pieces like Legos, and then put it back together a different way this time.
And it's again, and it's how we learn to deconstruct something.
Right.
Okay, here's what's happening. Oh, we had the one of the things that you're always talking to me about or make fun of is that I adapt to certain things. Things just happen, no matter how people show me something, and I barely look at it, but yet I can see almost instantaneously what it is, how it is, and tweak it out so it makes it a little bit better or whatever, right? And it's just how my brain is programmed. But I look at it and I go, oh, okay, this is how he got there.
It really is. It's astounding, and I kind of want to punch him half the time he talks to me about it. The other time I want to kick him. Just because we get a lesson, and we go to different teachers, different masters, and we get lessons with them whenever we have time. And they're great lessons, wonderful lessons, based on the way they teach. And I'll take something away from him. Oh, this is so cool, this is so cool. And then he'll turn around and challenge me. All right, how do you get there? How do you go beyond that? How do you break away from that? How do you even use it in real time? And then he shows me all these possibilities in a split second. Like, how did you figure all this out when we took the same amount of time learning it? But that's the process you were just talking about.
It's because I bring everything to the table, right? I bring everything.
USB.
Yeah, my USB. I just turn it on, and I see it.
Yeah.
Because that's how you have to look at everything. I mean, if you're taking it piece by piece, it takes so damn long, to analyze and
It's easier to break apart something that's already whole.
Because you look at the body mechanics, like
Right.
we've always said. For us, it's about body mechanics. You understand? Okay, how does that get you here to here? Oh, it could only be, and you follow this route. You say, okay, here's what it is. Now, how am I going to make that better? Oh, by doing this. Oh, by doing that. Oh, here, change this, move this. Wow, how'd you do that? I just looked at it and said, okay, here's the logical things what my body can or cannot do, but this is the result. And you're like, I hate you.
I really do sometimes. I really do. It's a love-hate relationship. It really is.
You have to get really in tune to yourself and know what you're really capable of based on the things that you've been given. A lot of times students will forget what was taught even as recent as a week ago, right?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, I forgot you said that. Oh, I forgot. Right? You have
this conversation, I remember things from way back when.
Right. But again, when you have that, and it's no fault of the student, because again, you said
You only can take
you
so
can
much.
only take so much information, then after that, half of that goes out the window.
Right.
One of Danny's biggest things is like, if you ever go to a seminar, always bring somebody with you. So whatever half you remember, hopefully they remember the other half, right? Then at least you have a whole piece going in. And
always
that
go
was-
groups, yeah.
And I've always taken that to heart because it's like, you're right, I can't remember everything.
I always thought that was a joke.
No. What do you think I asked? Hey, what do you think guys say about this piece? You're like, oh, it was
That's
this.
right.
Oh, that's right. Now I get it, and then I can put it back together. But yeah, and you go there with a friend, and you're gonna learn so much more because both of you guys are seeing what you see.
So it feels like even though you learn essentially a self-protection idea that we do in the Bladed Mind, you live the Bladed Mind on a regular basis and on a daily basis. You're living the Bladed Mind.
And you almost have to because if in any system, right, whether it's jiu-jitsu, judo, or karate, kung fu, and you hear those individuals that are taking the system, and they say it's a way of life for me. It's how I live my life, right? So I'm not, the only person doing it.
Right,
Everybody does this to the extent of what they do. I just know that, okay, if this is how things work in here, there's no reason why it shouldn't work out there, outside of the martial arts world. And you'd be foolish to think it doesn't.
Right.
Then you're making a great mistake by thinking, oh, they're two separate things. They need to be one and the same. You hear these guys who say, oh, I live and breathe, martial arts.
Sounds cheesy, but it's true.
But it's true. Right? And that's how I made it do that. I said, oh, of course I live that way because of what I know. I can apply all things that I know here outside of the real world. And I do.
Right. So I think even by that merit alone, it has to be beyond the physical. It has to be beyond the drills and the techniques.
Well, yeah, and Danny always said it's about the mentality. It changes the mentality to fit what we do in the Bladed Mind. You have a different idea of what surviving is.
Right.
When you're in a fight, okay, am I learning this to win or survive?
Right.
I'm learning to survive. But what does that mean? And this is how you get there. And this is how you run your day-to-day life. I want to survive the day, so I have to be aware of all these things that I don't. And do that. Because the moment that I change that, then I'm changing my life.
Yeah, it's an unknown realm at this point.
Right. So yeah, I do with this.
No, but I thought that was a valid enough question because, you do hear that. You hear that from other martial artists. But to what extent are you, doing horse stands to get to the store? Walking out your door, doing squats? Or what is there really behind that you can carry out of the dojo into the world?
Well, like I said, I believe they're heading there.
Right.
Because you never know when something will happen.
That's true.
And if you're not constantly thinking in a certain way, then you just miss the entire
Like Sugar Free said, if you stay ready, you ain't gotta get ready.
Yes, I am. Okay, well, that's about enough time that we have for
All right,
today.
guys.
It's already been an hour.
Oh.
In the next soon, I guess.
Soon we'll have guests. Hopefully
Yeah.
that guest is Danny.
Yeah, and look forward to that because that's going to be an interesting conversation.
Oh yes, it will.
You guys have a wonderful day. We'll see you next time
Thank you
on
for joining us.
Colleague Conversation with me, Rick,
Me Nain.
and goodbye.